Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Amped, and today we're gonna be doing something a little bit different from what I normally upload this time. In courtesy of Pokemania, I'm gonna be showing you guys in this video ways to beat stall, and I think my buddy Side Effects actually did something along the lines like this as well. So definitely check out his channel for it. He has his own version. I'm gonna do mine right here, and let's just hop straight into it. So I broke it down to 4 basic types. I mean, you can get a little bit more in depth with it, but I figure simplicity is always the way, so I just broke it down to 4 simple types. There could be more, there could be that I might be keeping out, but for now I think it's plenty of ways or different types of mods that you could use that you could utilize to beat stall. So first off, when you want to beat stall, you got to make a team that actually prepares for stall. I think that sometimes, especially being newer, you kind of build teams like you like to be offense or something like that, which is fine, but you don't really have a stall breaker. Like, you just have like your rocker, your hazard removal, your setup, your late game sweeper, the mons that helps that mon sweep, or whatever, a basic general design of offense, or you just have full on setup mons ready to just attack, which that's not gonna really help you against stall. I mean, if you play it properly, you could probably apply a good amount of pressure, but for the most part that won't really help you if you're playing against an experienced player that knows what they're doing. So first thing on the list right there is prepare for stall. Like, just don't hope that you don't get it, or when you get the matchup you just click X. So that's not how you're gonna win any game against stall. The second thing would be patience. That's something I lack, but definitely you have to be patient when playing stall. I think people get frustrated when they actually do have a great chance of beating stall, but they just feel like it's just overwhelming for them to play it, so they just play sloppily. They get frustrated, they make bad plays, and they lose, or they just click X whenever they see stall. So those 2 things right there can help you with that patience and actually prepare for stall. So the first thing I'm gonna really hop into is, these aren't really their names, but that's what I'm just gonna label them as because it's that's their role. So like the first ones are this one's pretty simple, which is like setup mons. And what I mean by like setup mons that utilize Nasty Plot or Swords Dance to beat stall. Things like Togekiss, Gliscor, even Crocoon. Like Roar Crocoon can break stall to an extent. Like, especially with the ability pressure, I think you can 1v1 the Chanseys or the Quagsires, not Chanseys. You can 1v1 the Chansey. I keep saying Chansey. You can 1v1 Clefables and Quagsires, because especially since Clef isn't, for one, Clef isn't gonna be isn't gonna have any Spadef. It's gonna be max defense most likely, and especially since Skull is a good move, you can burn Clefs, and also you have pressure. So literally all its attacks are half. So if it has Moonblast, it can't even really stay in on you. I mean, not Moonblast. If it has Moonlight, they can't stay in on you. Moonblast is cut to 12 instead of 24. If they're Wish Protect, you cut that down to 8. The Protect's down to, I mean, you get the idea. So literally you can pressure stall up there with that. You can also pressure stall Quagsires, though like I said, if you're running Calm Mind, Roar, I guess you have to be aware if they have like a stall breaker of their own, because some stalls do have stall breakers that you're not set up bait for their stall breaker. So I mean, things like that to keep in mind. So Togekiss, I mean, so Suicune could be one. There's Togekiss as well. Togekiss is a great stall mon. That mon literally right there can be to single-handedly destroy stall and so if there's not like a opposing like a Zapdos or something. I think that's literally the only thing. Or like T-Tar or Weavile, which is now, thanks to like ABR stall, you can see Weavile's more common in stall, I guess. But now since like Hoopa is gone, you don't really need to have the Weavile there anymore. But honestly, I thought Weavile fit extremely well with the team that ABR made, so who knows, you can keep that there. So I had mentioned Suicune, of course, and I said how Suicune could beat down the unaware mons, of course, and with the Roar you're able to roar out other setup sweepers such as like the slow bros, like curse quags, curse gastrodons, things like that. You can roar them out. So you got calm mind, calm mind. Yeah, okay, bro. Calm mind, roar, roar, scald. It's the greatest move in this game, and rest, of course. Of course, you do realize that since you are using roar, you're gonna be kind of useless for 2 turns, but Suicune's so bulky that not much on stall can really take advantage of it, so that's fine in its own. So next, of course, is Togekiss. Togekiss, great mon here, dude. It is blessed with this amazing ability, Serene Grace. Basically, it doubles the effect of secondary. It doubles the secondary effect of the moves that this Pokemon has, and this mon has the move called Air Slash, which 30% chance to flinch, 60% my G. So you got Nasty Plot right here, Nasty Plot coming all the way through, and you have Heal Bell. I can't fucking spell Heal Bell, and of course, last move's Roost. This set alone here, this shit right here. Shouts to Cat Williams. But in all seriousness though, this right here just destroys stall. My goodness, it is so good. Basically, if you're gonna run this, I always suggest enough speed to outpace Breloom. So you might want to make this just a jolly nature. So Breloom's and like Bisharps hit 262 if they're max. I mean, if they're jolly, max speed jolly. But like only Breloom would rarely be. I mean, I run jolly Breloom, but nothing else should really be jolly. Like Bisharp shouldn't be jolly unless you're running like a Scarf set, which I don't know. I guess that could work. But typically, you want to run this spread and then dump the rest into defense. Or not, my bad. Go max HP. Keep that odd number so you have the Stealth Rock number. I think it helps you come in on more. You can come in on rocks more if you have the odd number, so definitely keep that in mind. And basically this set is you click Nasty Plot and you just flinch everything to death, literally. That's it. And they can't even like toxic you because you have Heal Bell. Like they can't. You just set up literally, and you literally beat Chanseys. At +6, you're doing like I think from 30 to 35 with Togekiss, which you may say like that's not really a good roll to take it on. But like I said, you have a 60% chance to flinch. You're faster than most things on stall anyways, so the chance of them breaking out, it's not really looking good. And you literally get the +6 and you just click Air Slash. That's about it. Of course, you do have the unaware mons, but like I said, most times the unaware mons are fully like physically defensive, not even specially defensive. I think you 3-hit KO Quagsires. I mean, you definitely should set up on them, of course, and then you just flinch them down. And then you also do the same thing with Clefable. I think Clefable is a bit bulkier than Quag though on this def side, so you would have to get more flinches, of course. But besides that, this thing just beats stall on its own, because those are really the only 2 unaware mons that are useful in OU, Clef and Quagsire. So once you get those things out of the way, you literally just demolish stall with this set here. Another mon that kind of fits into this category of the setup mons, which would be Gliscor. Gliscor is amazing because it deals with what's that thing called? Sableye. I mean, these two also kind of deal with Sableye because Sableye is doing nothing to Suicune. I mean, it's literally set up bait for Suicune. Like, it's not gonna do anything to Suicune. Suicune can literally get the +6 and then just blow it back with Day Scald. Togekiss, of course, has Heal Bell, so Sableye is not an issue. But Sableye does have knockoff on these things, so that you won't have passive recovery, so keep that in mind. But other than that, really, it just blows. These things all handle Sableye very well, which can be very annoying because it kind of stops you from getting your hazards up, which helps you, you could pressure stall a bit more with if you could spike stack, if you get toxic spikes up, things like that. But of course, Sableye being around, it's not that easy unless you got like a mold breaker mon that has your hazards. But coming on to Gliscor is amazing because it has the ability Poison Heal, basically give it the Toxic Orb. And Bop, there it is. Like, this thing can't be a status, which is awesome because you can't get paralyzed if they have glare or body slam for some reason. If they're running like a defensive Altaria, you can't get paralyzed. I don't know why Brick breaks there, and it has the access to Sword Stance and Taunt, which these two sets here, I guess I would write Gliscor twice, but for the first step, since I am on the setup sweepers, you're gonna have, I guess you can use Knockoff, Facade. I've seen people run Stone Edge. I don't know if that's actually good to use because you have 8 PP, which I don't think it's definitely not worth running that. But you could run that. Swords Dance, of course. You set up on Sableye all day. Just be aware that they can possibly carry Foul Play, though I think it's becoming less common because you have Toxic that people might run, Knockoff, Toxic, Recover. I guess you still can run Foul Play, but definitely keep that in mind that you don't want to boost up and get it popped with a Foul Play. Of course, you need Earthquake, nice stab, and the last move is Recovery Roost. This is a great mon that blows through stall in itself as well. But the issue with Gliscor is, unlike these two have ways of dealing with the unaware mons. Like I said, Suicune can literally PP stall them out, and you could do fine. But also keep in mind though that your opponent can just switch out. They can infinitely switch to I guess kind of mitigate PP stalling them. Instead of attacking you, they can just switch in and out. But if you can keep some type of hazards up to pressure their switches, I think you're fine. So yeah, definitely try to be able to get rocks up. But like I said, if they have Sableye, it is pretty tough. But like rocks would definitely press your opponent from from switching in and out. So I think that's something to keep in mind as well. Because I actually got, like, I was playing stall and I was getting Regenerator stalled actually. He has Regen Core of Amoonguss and I think Slowbro, and he was literally stalling out my Talonflame. But different story for a different time. It's okay. Why does this keep changing to Brick? I literally, let's just put Knockoff for now. Knockoff, Bop, there it is. So okay, this set right here, like I said, that's the downside of Gliscor. It doesn't deal well with of course the unaware mons. I guess I don't think you can stall them out. Maybe Clefable, but I doubt it. But I doubt you can stall them out. So if you could pair Gliscor with something that can deal with unaware mons, maybe some type of lure. If you're able to use Knockoff, Knockoff's always a great option to knock off Recovery. Like I said, having Leftovers gone, it makes a huge difference, though it seems like it's 6% every turn. Those 6% definitely adds up. So yeah, that's the thing with Gliscor there. And I think that's about it for the setup mons. So the next type of stall breaker you might want to use, which is very good actually, taunt users, things like Gardevoir, young Gardevoir, I think it's an excellent taunt user. Talonflame, of course. I think Talonflame is one of my favorite stall breakers, of course. And let's keep the theme of 3 going on right now. And Gliscor, Bob, there it is. What, Gliscor is back up here, ayy. But anyways, Gardevoir, of course, this monster, this thing hits hard, dude. Especially if you want to use it like to highly dedicate it to breaking stall. I definitely say you should go modest. But if you do want to keep it for offensive pressure as well, I mean, it's in a speed tier where a lot of threatening mons are faster than it anyways. But if you want to tie with other base 100s, you could definitely keep it timid. But if you want more damage output against Chanseys, things like that, Side Shock, I think timid Side Shock does like 34 to Chansey, which is a lot if you think about it. That does a lot. I'm not even sure how much Modest would do. And then Taunt here, actually let me calculate Modest damage actually. Modest Gardevoir. But like I was saying, you should most likely would keep it timid so you could have some, so you could do offense as well. But if you want to keep it like completely dedicated to wall breaking, I guess you keep it modest. I feel like this does like 50, not 50, like 45 to Chansey, 40 or 45. Okay, I was way off. But that does a good amount though, 35 to 30 to 42. And the thing is, like, you keep Chansey. Let me see how much Timid does. Yeah, I think you can honestly keep Timid because it's still a 3-hit KO. Yeah, let's see, modest. Yeah, you could literally just run Timid. Actually, there's no reason to run modest. It guarantees a 3-hit KO, but honestly, I think Timid's just way better. Definitely keep Timid. Timid's fine. Oops, wrong thing. But yeah, you run this here. You hit them up with a side shock if you predict them to switch into their Chansey. If that's the only thing, I can come into Gardevoir, of course. And then I mean, most of the time they would click soft boil, especially if they haven't seen your full set yet. Most of the time they should click soft boiled. I think seismic tossing on a switch into Gardevoir after hit you with a side shock's not that smart of a play, to be honest. But they should most likely soft boiled up, and you hit them with the taunt, switch out to another mon that can deal with Chansey, of course, on your team, and you keep Chansey low like that. Basically, you keep it low, and you have to put a good amount of pressure on their team to where if Chansey's the mon that's holding your team back from actually winning, you have to put a great amount of pressure on your opponent by making doubles on their where Chansey would come in, obviously, to switch, keeping hazards up, of course. Like, hazards is huge against Stall. Like I said, I can't just like mention this. You need to keep hazards to pressure him as well, so he doesn't have free switches. Even just having stealth rocks alone is fine. But yeah, making doubles or making the plays, because sometimes you have multiple ways of revenging mons. But sometimes I see people, when they revenge a mon, they also revenge with a mon on their side that allows them to bring in a mon that they didn't want to come in to like recover. You know what I'm saying? So always think about how, if you revenge with this mon, what's gonna happen afterwards, what comes in afterwards. So think about that, of course. Play smart. See a taunt, the thing you switch out, and then you keep Chansey low, pressure them. Another mon that decimates Stall in itself is Talonflame. Talonflame is a great taunt user. Leftovers, especially the Spadef set. The Spadef set is really fwag. I really just say fwag. But the Talonflame set is pretty poppin', dude. It's Brave Bird. You could run Acro, but I think Brave Bird is, I wouldn't say it's better. I just think having the recovery is nicer for you over just running an acrobatic set. But you could run Acro if you really wanted to lessen the damage of knockoffs and all that stuff. Taunt, I swear, dude, I swear. Taunt, Will-O-Wisp, and of course your last move is gonna be recovery. So I'm pretty sure you guys can find the spreads, but I'm just gonna do it anyways. 248, I'm just gonna throw max Spadef on there. Minus Talonflame's pretty damn weak though, but it gets the job done. Something along these lines. You can throw the 8 and the speed if you really want to. Taunt Talonflame is an amazing mon. The only thing, like I said, is unlike guard, no person in their right mind, unless they're feeling themselves, is gonna bring in a Sableye predicting taunt. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't think anyone in their right mind would do something like that. I don't know, maybe if they feel like they're in a desperation. So that's why Gardevoir is pretty good, because like I said, no one's gonna bring Sableye in it. But Talonflame, most people wouldn't bring Sableye into Talonflame either, but if they're predicting your taunt, sometimes they don't lose much by going into Sableye, getting you taunted, and then bringing them on in so they don't get Will-O-Wisp, so they don't have to waste their heal bells. So I guess that could be the downside of it. You could also run taunt SD if you want that, or like I said, it depends. You can run taunt SD if you don't want to run Will-O-Wisp, but I think Will-O-Wisp kind of helps you cripple the other mons on stall if you would like. But if you find stabilized too much of an issue, you can run taunt, SD, or even bulk up. I mean, SD gets you to a much higher attack stat quicker, while Brave Bird keeps foul play doing minimal. Keeps it doing minimal damage when you boost up, but it's slower. Of course, you're going stage by stage instead of jumping 2 stages. So I mean that right there. If Talonflame is annoying for you, you could go with these setup options. But most likely, if you want overall, this is the great set to stop like Quagsires. You can body Clefables. I mean, like these are the mons that definitely appreciate knockoff support. Like I said, you keep lefties off. Like literally, this mon stops things from healing. That's why taunt is just a great move to having install. Like I said, if they can, I mean, they could use Sableye to kind of use that against you, but most of the time they're not going into Sableye. I don't think if Sableye is their talent answer, they might be in some trouble. But yeah, like you taunt down, pretty much you stop them from recovering. Nothing's faster than you on stall. That's the thing about stall. Stall is slow. They don't typically run fast mons. You don't have to really worry about T-Tars anymore, like I said, because Hoopa is gone. There's no real reason to have T-Tar unless they just want to trap like spinners and defoggers and Aladdis and Starmies, things like that. But yeah, like I said, taunt shuts down fat demons from like using recovery moves. You can't stop bullets, so they're forced to switch out. And you can just wear them down with Brave Birds, repeated Brave Birds. You can throw out Will-O-Wisp to make them to even lower their health, health, of course. And if you have knockoff support, you can definitely cripple them turn by turn, slowly whittling them down. And yeah, you break teams down with just Talonflame in itself. Talonflame is awesome. Like I said, taunt Willow is good. Like I said, if you do find Sableye to be annoying, you definitely can go with the setup option. I guess I could have threw it on the setup thing, but like I said, it doesn't really help you against the Quagsires or the Clefables if you are the setup version of this. So that's why I don't really consider the SD Talon a stall breaker, because it doesn't really have a great way of dealing with the unaware mons. I guess you could say same thing about SD Gliscor, but whatevs. So now we're gonna go to Gliscor. Same thing as Talon, pretty much. Of course, you're gonna have Poison Heal or Poison Orb, Toxic Orb. One time, yeah, Toxic Orb. Here, I think you run knockoff. You can literally run knockoff or facade, whatever you really feel. Whatever you feel is right. Taunt and Roost. It's pretty much the same thing as Talonflame, though. Like I think you have an easier time dealing with Sableye, which I can think helps you a bit more. So if you do want to run taunt, I think Sableye, I mean, if you do find Sableye to be an issue to your squadron, you can definitely add Gliscor, though you'll be in for like more of a long haul type thing. But it typically has the same role as Talonflame, except that you don't really have status, but you do have knockoff with this set. Like I said, nothing is more huge than knocking off those mons passive items. I can't stress that point. So knockoff, you have knockoff and taunt in this mon. Oh, lordy. And like the things, like I said, so like if you're going against Clefables, things like that, they're not gonna really want to stay in on you. But like I said, knockoff is good on them. Knockoff's good on Quag. I think you can take on Quag if you knock it off, hit it with the taunt. They can't roost. Keep those things low. And like if you get rid of their unaware mons, you could literally make room for your setup sweeper to go through and just wreak havoc, man. So I'm not really gonna go too much in depth into this set because literally it's the same thing as Talon, except you don't have Willow, you have Knock and Taunt, which is a great combination to defeat stall. Like I said, taunt users are always a huge threat to stall, because if you cannot recover with your mons and they're getting weakened constantly, you can't win, you can't stall. And Bob, there it is. Yeah, let's just stick with that. So the best one, that thing that comes to mind to me, which I've actually used during the Suspect testing was Thunderous. Thunderous is great, I think. Underrated mon in this game out here. Knockoff. What's with these random moves they keep giving me? Knockoff. Superpower. Thunderbolt. HP Ice. You could go with if you wanna, even that I should have put Nasty Plot Thunderous in the first page, but I kind of missed it. But Nasty Plot with Grass Knot, I think you could just demolish Stall too. If you get, I think even +2 Focus Blast does a lot to Chansey. I don't know, I'd have to calculate, but I think Nasty Plot Thunderous can also be a good setup mon against Stall. But I think you'd have to have a specific set to beat a certain teams, so I'm not gonna like go into that one. Hidden Power Ice, of course, so it makes this a great stall breaker. Well, I wouldn't call it necessarily a stall breaker, but a mon that could aid you in breaking down stall, and it's just diverse moves pool, which just makes it hard for stall things that are on stall to switch in. I think you run 68 attack, max speed, of course, timid, or is it timid? What's the Spadef one? I think it's timid, or naive. My bad, naive. So this set here, pretty much the way I play with this mon is I don't ever reveal these two move sets. These are the two move sets that I would most likely use, unless it is very obvious that Chansey's going to be their answer to you. Then you can knock off on the predicted switch. Otherwise, I wouldn't even, like, if you have a matchup against Stall, of course, I wouldn't even reveal these two move sets. These what you should mainly be using: Thunderbolt, HP Ice, of course. But like I said, if they don't have a Chansey, you can just literally, there's no reason to conceal, knock off, just knock off. Like I said, knock off, take out their items. You make it easier for things to hit Chansey even harder, especially if a physical attacker. Your special mons have a little bit more leeway because Chansey won't be taking those hits as well. Like Bolt Beam coverage is very nice with Thunderous. It has amazing coverage, so that's why Thundy is very good mon in aiding with breaking down stall. I teamed this up with my Talent Flame, I think. Talent Flame and Dianchi. I use those three, and those three work great against offense as well, and they work great with stall. So I think that core there would work very well for me. But you guys try some things that could work out for you. The next one, this one's on the fence. Kiram, I wouldn't really call it a stall breaker at all, but let's just go situational. Kiram Black definitely. Okay, this is not a stall breaker at all. I say it's more of a balance breaker. But if the team doesn't have Chansey, Kiram is a tough mon for fat teams to switch in onto, dude. Especially has Bolt Beam coverage, Ice Beam, Bolt Strike, and Earth Power, of course. Last move's up to you if you want to run a subset, which I think was very, very nice. Very, very nice. You can definitely run subset, put lefties over Life Orb for longevity. But if you're not going to run a subset, you can run Roost, of course. But like, if teams do not have a Chansey, you literally blow them back. Things that can only really switch it onto this is like, I'm trying to think, is like maybe especially defensive Gastronon, possibly, I think, can come in on it. But things like Cresselia maybe. But for the most part, most things on stall can't come in on it. Like Amanda Buzz gets popped. I don't think, what's his name? The Unaware Fable does not appreciate Ice Beam. Quagsire does not appreciate Ice Beam. Amoongus gets bopped. Amanda Buzz gets bopped. What else is there on stall? Stall. I can't really think of much things, but Kiram can definitely take care of stall with itself, just by itself. Like I said, not by itself, but if you team it up with things that can deal with the things that it has problem with, which is most likely Kiram's, like which is Chansey. Definitely team it up with something with a team. Like I said, use your team to kind of work together. Like don't like just put one role on that one mon. You know what I'm saying? Make a team where the other mons can they can fulfill one role, but they can also do another role. You know what I'm saying? Have mons that can multitask, I guess you can say. And I don't think I know any other mixed attacker. I guess Infernape, maybe. We could throw Infernape in this bad boy. Infernape. I was thinking of an Infernape as an item. I think it's an underrated mon. Literally blows back Chansey Skarm. Good times. Oh yeah, he destroys Skarmory too. But I think it does pretty well against Stall. Like I said, if there's no Chanseys there, I'm trying to think of what special wall that can come in on this that can also take Fusion Bolt. Maybe Blissey's? I don't know. Close combat. And the last ones are really up to you. I think this is the most common one, Gunk Shot, and then Grass Knot. Yeah. Okay, Overheat, the steel types, of course. Close combat, the steel types that aren't Spadef. Yeah, you close combat the steel types that aren't Spadef. Overheats hits Skarm. Close combat Bob's Chanseys. I guess Mana Buzz could be an issue to this set, though. Of course, Mana Buzz is disgusting. Will not die. Gunk Shot hits Clefable's hard. Grass Knot hits the Quags, the Gastrodons, the Hippos. The Hippos rarely on stall though. But like I said, these mons here, these mons are the setup mon. I mean, they mix attackers that can do well against stall. Like I said though, just pair them up with other things that can help you beat stall as well. I wouldn't solely rely on these mons to just single-handedly beat stall, like I said. But yeah, these are the three attackers. You could also play with the set on the Infernape, of course. If you see that your mon handles a certain mon on stall and you don't really need that moveset, of course tweak it to your team, or to whatever your team needs. And moving on to the last type, for stall. So the last one, I call them heavy hitters. Basically, these mons are so strong that stall has a hard time coming in on them. Things like Pinsir, dude. But like I said, these mons, you do definitely need to partner them up with mons that can definitely take on stall. So these things, I wouldn't rely solely on these things, of course. That's the last two have been pretty much this. Landorus, of course. Earthblade Landorus is so fucking strong. Same thing as Pinsir, dude. Just Pinsir. I think Pinsir has the ability to 2-hit KO majority things of stall. Same thing with Landorus. The only thing these two things don't like KO I think is fully defensive Skarm. And the last one, I just go with Tyranitar Bandit. Now I'm gonna show you the calcs on these so you know what I'm saying here. A lot of times I see people set up with this and try to win. You don't really even need to set up at that point. Like literally, if you can bring it in on a mon that you know that takes big damage to you, that takes big damage from you, and you know they can't do nothing to you in return, you just click return twice instead of SD. You know, SD kind of waste. I saw a person do this repeatedly, and I was like, you just 2-hit KO their Quag or their Clefable on a switch. There's no reason for you to SD, and then like if you just return there, your opponent's gonna be scrambling to find a switch in, which it most likely won't. Because if you think about like there's like no good rock type that's on stall. If you think about it, there's none. It's most likely gonna be a Skarmory, so definitely have things that can deal with Skarm. I guess you could definitely team this up with Magnezone, but I think I'd use mons that could definitely wear it down over time, because you might run into stall that has Shed Shell Skarmory, of course. But for this one, I'm not gonna go into the set. Return, frustration, whatever you want. Sword Stance, Quick Attack, and Close Combat. But yeah, I'm just gonna go into the calcs with Pincer and show you like how you're just able to 2-hit KO things on stall. So first things I'm gonna show you guys are the unaware mons, Quagsires, OU wall. Like, look at this damage. You have a 79% chance to kill this thing. Like, and this is all it's doing to you. This is nothing. Like, the only thing, of course, is that skull can burn, which is annoying as shit. But literally, you have a 79.3% chance to KO this thing. If stealth rocks are up, you're guaranteed to a KO. Like, that's the power of Pincer. You do the same thing with Clefable. Like, if you have a healing wish and you know that you can take anything, you can definitely just stay in on it. But Clefable, unaware wall. Look at it, 55. Like, I don't think you even need rocks here. Like, you just 2-hit KO unaware Clefables that are max defense unaware. If you go to Chansey, seismic toss is about that much, but return 2-hit KO. I think you're starting to see the trend here. And the buzz, you do about this one. You will need rocks up though. You will definitely need rocks up. And I think you can 2-hit KO. Yeah, guaranteed 2-hit KO with rocks up. But like I said, Clefable, you can even bring this thing in on Clefables and Quagsires. Like I said, if you have healing, if you have a cleric, which it depends on your team. You might not have a cleric, but you may have a healing wish user, which can allow you to play reckless with Scizor. Definitely support that. It's like Pincer puts in so much pressure against stall. Like I said, dude, like that's the thing with some stalls, you can just hit them hard. That's why I call this thing heavy hitters. But I can't really think of anything else that could be on stall. But like, you just decimate things, dude. It's just easy. Amoonguss gone. Like, if you have a Keldeo and like their main check is Amoonguss, like they can't stay in. Like, let's see Slowbro. Oh, you defensive. Like, big damage. Slowbro takes it a bit better though. Slowbro can definitely come in, but I don't think it's rare that you see Slowbro on stall. Not rare. But Slowbro, you might need a bit more damage on that thing, because Slowbro is a beast, especially if it's Mega. You won't be doing too much to it, but like I said, you've got SD, and this is not a game. SD to blast through those things. So yeah, so that's pretty much the role of this. You just bring it in on mons that know that you know they can't do nothing to you, even if it's the worst that you get poisoned or there's a chance you get skull burned. Of course, those are risks you have to take, but like I said, if they can't do much to you, the best thing, like with Clefable, if Clefable comes out, you could always pull a double to where you have Pincer in. Like, say you have a setup sweeper, they're forced to go into their Clefable, you can always double out to their Pincer and 2-hit KO something. But you have to keep hazards off the field. This thing is spikes is whatever, but it's quad weak to rocks. You can't have rocks up if you want to bring in Pincer freely to get in on doubles, things like that. The next one is Landorus and Earthplate Adamant, of course, my dude. Earthplate Adamant hits so hard, my dudes. You have no idea. It's pretty much the same thing as. I'm just gonna do this for now. I know it should be this. But Earthquake hits hard too. This is one of the things that you can run Ban, but like Ban also does the same thing. But I think Earthplate is nicer because it gives you the ability to switch up moves, so you're not locked in on something. If they don't have a flying type, which sometimes stall kind of lacks at times. It depends who stall you're using, but you should have a ground immunity for things like Landorus, Banded Landorus, and all that good stuff. They should have a ground type, but if not, like, you just click Earthquake. Just click it. It does so much. Of course Slow Bro eats, because Slow Bro's out here. But let me give it Earth Plate. And that does a good amount. that's not a joke. That's big damage. Stealth rocks up. I think it's a 2 KO. Nope, not even. I'm out here lying. But if you look at chances, like this thing hits hard. Like, ooh, stealth rocks up, gone. Can't come in. Like like I said, if you go bandit, of course, this choice bandit, like they can't switch in on you. Like it's that easy. Like that's how much damage you're doing. But like I said, I definitely think you definitely lose the power in Earth Plate, but I think it's the ability to switch up moves is a lot better than being locked in. Because especially you could just run SD, Swords Dance SD with this set, of course, to boost up your attack. And like I said, this is one of the mons that just you can't really switch into it. I don't think Clefable can come in on it. Like, yeah, guaranteed 2-hit KO. It's easy. Quag might take this a bit easier, I think. Yeah, it definitely takes it a bit easier, but you have a great chance to 2-hit KO it with rocks up. So without rocks, not a good chance, but definitely keep rocks up. If you're able to, of course. You might not be able to, but let me see what Ban does. Jesus Christ, dude. Like, if you're able to get rid of the mons that are flying types, maybe you could, I don't know how, I mean, it depends. Look at your team, see how you can like team this thing up with to see if you can get rid of the mon that's of course in the air that can't be touched by Earthquake. Then you can just literally click Earthquake, because if you have it banded, dude, there's nothing that can come in on you. There's literally nothing that can come in on you. Like Quag, it can't do nothing to you. But yeah, that's pretty much how that works. You just hit things hard, SD to bully through things, like I said. But you might not want to SD until the unaware mons are gone. But if you want to SD to pressure them in, I definitely say do that. But yeah, Earthquake, Swords Dance, Stone Edge. If you're using this to fight against stall, you don't need Rock Polish. But if you also want something against offense that can help you with offense sweeping, you could run definitely Rock Polish with the SD, make it double dance. But I guess you could find some other coverage move if you don't want to do double dance. So then the last mon, which is Bantar. Bandit Tar, my dudes. And Bantar is really good against stall, mainly because there's not that many great ground types on stall. Like, you think about it, Hippo is a great ground type, but it's not typically on stall. It's more of on balance teams, or yeah, just bounce. When you think about ground types, more often than not, it's gonna be Quagsire, which it cannot switch into a crunch. And then one thing that Stall sometimes deals lack as well is a dark type resist. So literally, thanks to T-Tars, like stab moves, crunch, and Stone Edge, Stall mons have a hard time switching in. And most of the times they're not running double unaware mons. It's literally Clefable or Quagsire. They can't have both, because literally that's just having two mons that do the same thing in one slot, where you have to make a team which basically is revolved around walling as many things as you can. So it's rare. I'm not even gonna say it's rare. It's just stupid to have two unaware mons on one team. But literally, I can show you the calcs. I guess I can show you the calcs. I'm just doing this to just show you the power of these mons. And like I said, Dark type is such a good offensive type, and it's so hard for Stall to switch into. Because like I said, the Dark types things that come in on Dark type on Stall most likely is Mandibuzz and Clefable. But like I said, if they don't have a rock resist as well, it's like you don't even have to click crunch. You just click Stone Edge. The only reason why like Tyranitar is not the best heavy hitter is because of the chance. Well, the main moves you're going to be using can miss. and Stone Edge. It can miss. It can definitely miss. And you only have eight of them. That's the main reason why I don't like choice band T-Tar. But if you can do what Riv did, pair it up with double band rock types, Terrakion and this thing. But yeah, you decimate Mandibuzz, dude. That does nothing. Clefable wants to come in on it. Let's see. Clefable, unaware. That's delicious. Quagsire. OU, unaware, wall. Crunch. So Quagsire takes it a bit better than everything else, even with the rocks up. But like I said, defense drop, lol, easy coming through. Anyway, let's see what else is there. I think you guys pretty much get the gist of it though. Like, it just hits hard. It's just hard for things on stall to switch into. Stone Edge 2-hit KOs, though I don't think most people would even bring a Chansey in on T-Tar. It's just ridiculous. But yeah, that's pretty much how that works though. You literally weaken those things on stall so that the other mons on your team can pick them off. That's the whole point of these heavy hitters. You just hit them hard, and that's why I said you should probably pair this up with a healing wisher so you can play reckless as you want to make not crazy double, just make doubles to give yourself to put yourself in the best position to make the most out of these things. Like I said, longevity is an issue with these mons, of course, especially in the case of Pinsir. Like hazards definitely will bother you with these types of mons here. There's no recovery. You just hit hard and try to kill as many mons as you can with these types of mons right here. Heavy hitters. So I think I pretty much covered what I really wanted to with these stall breakers. Let me see how much time's been on. I feel like I've been talking forever. Oh my goodness, 47 minutes. This is gonna be a long one. But yeah, dude, I'm gonna wrap it up here. If you guys have any more questions about it, let me know in the comments. I'm gonna end it off here because this is way too damn long. I didn't want to make a lecture out here, but I did want to go into the roles of these things and definitely tell you what to possibly team them with to help them break down stall. But hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like and a comment, and I'll catch you guys next